Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Private Practice with Soul podcast. This is the first podcast for counsellors that just don't align with the traditional approaches to business and that want to use their spiritual gifts, talents, and interests to create, you guessed it, a private practice with soul. So, look, leave it to me to provide you with everything you need, including strategies that you can use to increase your income, reduce your workload, and of course, increase inquiries and referrals to your beautiful soul-led private practice. I love it so much. If you haven't done it already, grab your journal, grab your pen, and let's begin. Good morning, everyone. How are you? I hope that you're having a really, really lovely weekend. Gabe and I woke up this morning to very thick fog. So it was very, very cold in our place. He's still all rugged up with his little jacket on. And I've got all the heaters going and stuff like that, and a hot coffee beside me. But I wanted to record this podcast today because working with so many people in counselling and private practice and reviewing so many websites recently, I've come to see that there's a little bit of a trend and I want to really help you with it. So my intention with this episode today is to show you an easy way to get your website ranking more highly on Google without you spending a cent. I know, do you love it? I love it so much. And this is really going to resonate for people who are time poor, for people who are, strapped for cash and don't have that much to invest in, advertising and things like that. And it's also really going to work for people who are wanting to call in more clients. So what is it? Well, I want to talk with you about blogging. Now, I've come up with a different way of doing it, but let me just, backtrack for a minute. So blogging is where we have a space on our website. And sorry if you can hear noise in the background, that's Gabe. He's just giving himself a bit of a scratch and a wiggle around on the carpet there. You have a tab on the website and you write content. Okay. And you include a photo and things like that. However, and it's really, really helpful to have a blog on your website because it provides what's called searchable content. So anything really that's on Google and Google own YouTube. So anything that's on Google and YouTube is called searchable content. It means that anybody in the world, anywhere, can type into Google and they can find information if you've shared it. Now, it's not, I think what happens is with counsellors, sometimes we think we have to blog, but we don't know how to do it. Nobody's ever showed us how to do it. And so we're just writing therapy stuff and it's not landing for anyone. We're getting stock photos and we're just sharing those. And sometimes I've read blogs that go for pages and it's crazy. Like, you're busy, your clients are busy. We want to be respectful of people's time. We want to be mindful of our time. And what is the point? Like, to be honest, a lot of the blogs that I've read, I got nothing from. Like, I'm kind of thinking, what was the point? And so I've been in touch with some counsellors in the ACPPO this week about their blogging practices. And I've asked them the hard questions. And what's come out of that is that people don't understand how to blog. There's a lack of understanding about blogging, what it is, how to do it, what the purpose of it is. And there's also some other barriers to blogging as well, apart from lack of knowledge and lack of time. One of the other things that is like a big problem is people having blogs on their website, but they look like they haven't been touched in 6 months or 9 months or 12 months, even some longer. The last blog post was pre-COVID for a couple of websites that I had a look at this week. And I just think you're doing yourself a disservice with that. So I think that's the other thing, not understanding how to be consistent. And I think that comes back into lack of time. And then the other thing that therapists are struggling with when it comes to blogging is not knowing how to write in a way that's actually going to land for their clients. So they're writing as a therapist instead of as a business owner. And what's happening is nothing. It's just like crickets. They're not getting inquiries as a result of the blog. And when you use a heat map on your website, you can see for many of them that people, click into the blog and click out after just a couple of seconds. So I want to teach you how to blog in a way that's going to raise the ranking of your website for free. And I want to teach you a way of getting more people to come back to the website. So we want to have, repeat visitors to the website. We want to have the same people, coming back each week or each month to see what you're writing, as well as attract new people and keep them there too. And I want to teach you how to do that in a way that's going to save you a lot of time and just be like really, really effective where you're not being a therapist. I want to teach you like the business mindset of blogging. And I want to do it all in a way that's like short, sharp, and you're going to love. So maybe grab a pen and paper if you haven't already. I know some of you are sharing with me that you've got a private practice with Soul podcast journal now. So if you've got one of those, go and grab it. Here's what I want to share with you. Now, I'm not sure if I came up with this term, but I'm calling it microblogging. And I've started to talk about it this week with some of my clients. But my idea, and it's just an idea, but my idea is that as private practice owners, we do microblogging. Now, what is it? Well, microblogging is an easy way for you to get content on your website, and it's not going to take you time and it's not going to cost you money. What I want you to do is, decide on how often you want to publish. And I think with a micro blog, you could absolutely do it weekly. And what I'd like you to do in this micro blog is I want you to really think about a client that you've seen, this week or in the past few weeks, and I want you to think about a problem that they were having. Or I want you to think about, if you don't have clients yet, think about, your dreamiest client ever and think about one of the problems they might have. And then I want you to think about, what are 3 things I can share with them that will help them have a quick win with this? And when I ask you to think about this, please be specific. Your blog will not get a look in if you write, if you come up, for example, when you're doing your little draft, maybe you come up with your blog title and maybe it's, so with me, you're my audience. So I might say how to get your first 5 inquiries, this week. Without spending a cent or something like that. And then I'm going to come up with 3 specific points. So I might talk about, identifying the pain points of the person that you want to work with and then writing to that. I might speak about updating your message, updating your brand message and making sure it's consistent across all platforms. I might talk about re-engaging previous referrers or something like that. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to come up with 3 specific ways. What I don't want to see is if you say, oh, well, my dream client, she's stuck and she's overwhelmed. And no, those are very wishy-washy terms. If you're thinking, oh, my client is overwhelmed, I want you to really get specific. Like if specificity got rated from 0 being not specific at all to 10, where would you rate the term overwhelmed? It's probably a 0 or a 1, right? But if you drilled down and thought about your dreamiest client, think about what are they specifically overwhelmed with? What are they specifically overwhelmed by? If we were filming them and, we watched that film and it didn't have sound, what would we be observing that shows us that they are overwhelmed? That's what I mean. Like, get really, really specific. No wishy-washy terms. Otherwise, this doesn't work. So get really specific. And then I want you to think of 3 things that this person may be able to do, shift, change, implement, action, stop doing, start doing, whatever it is. And ask yourself, are each of these 3 things actually going to benefit my client? So if you say something like, engage in more self-care, that's not going to help your client, because we all know how to do self-care. Like, nobody's paying you to learn about how to do self-care. It's like, I don't know, it's just something we all do. We've all got our own ways of doing that. So what I would ask you to do is drill down deeper and maybe ask yourself, look, my client already understands what self-care is and they already know about self-care. Maybe they're resistant to it. So maybe I'm going to give them some strategies to overcome resistance to self-care, or maybe I'm going to give them some key benefits of self-care, or maybe I'm going to really unpack why my particular client finds it so hard to make this time. And if it's something to do with mindset, maybe I'm going to give my client in this micro blog 3 things that they can do that's going to help them shift that mindset, right? This is what I mean. This is what makes it valuable, and this is what makes it useful, and this is what keeps people coming back. And that's what we want, because when you get somebody clicking on your website for the first time, they're a new person. But when they see your website and they see your blog and they think, oh my gosh, I'm going to try that. That really sounds so helpful and I hadn't thought of that before. They're going to come back, and then they're called a warm audience. Okay. And then they're going to keep coming back, and they're going to start to trust you because they're going to start implementing these things, right? Kind of like you do with me on these podcasts. If I was just giving you general stuff, you wouldn't do it and you wouldn't get any outcome. But each week I give you actionable steps, and some weeks you're going to use them and some weeks they're not going to apply to you, and other weeks you'll get a great result, and but they're always intentional. And so that's what you need to do. So think about a problem that your client has, come up with 3 dot points of how that problem can be resolved, shifted, improved, whatever it is. And all you're going to do is write a couple of sentences on each of those dot points. So your micro blog should just be 1, maybe 2 paragraphs. Okay. And that's it. So you're not having to come up with new ideas all the time about what to write. So there's no pressure there. You're not wasting time drafting, 1,000-word essays that aren't going to get read. And this is going to feel better for you because it's shorter, it's more succinct, it's to the point, there's no fluff, and you're going to start to build your audience. And when you build the audience and you're blogging, you're also building connection, and connection equals currency. Like, eventually those people, when they need therapy or when they need counseling in your particular niche, you're the one that they're going to come to. Or when they have a friend or family that needs support in your niche, you're the one that they're going to recommend. Okay. So, the other thing too is always, when you're creating a private practice with soul, you always want to be intentional. And by that, I mean, we need to have a look at, what are you setting the intention for with this blog post or with this micro blog? So for me, with my podcasts, I never know how long I'm going to talk for, but I always set the intention to provide real information that I use myself, that is tested, that my clients use and get results with, because I want you to be able to create a successful for you private practice, whatever success looks like for you. And so I'm not going to give you any fluff. So every time I do this podcast, I tune in and I ask myself, what do they really need to hear right now? Where are they struggling? What can I do to help them without the fluff that's going to get them where they need to go, but in a way that feels aligned with their values? So I imagine most of you have a value of being helpful, and I imagine most of you would be setting an intention around, it is my intention with this microblog to be as helpful as I can in as fewer words as possible or something like that. Okay. And that's why they're called microblogs. Now, the other way that you can do it, if you're not somebody who likes writing, and maybe your audience don't necessarily enjoy reading, you can absolutely do a microblog as an audio. I know, right? Do you love it? I know. I love this so much because, again, no one's doing it, right? So I had this idea that maybe you could just do, because I was asking myself what would be the easiest way for my clients. And I'm thinking a lot of my clients are working with clients themselves who are neurodivergent and things like that. Not everybody's wanting to read slabs of text, not all of the private practice owners that I work with or counsellors that I work with want to sit down and write thousands of words of text. So I was thinking, what would be like if it got to be super duper easy for everyone? And I've covered the people who enjoy reading and writing. What about the people who don't? And I thought, okay, well, they can do little micro audio blogs, right? I know, I love it so much. So how do you do it? So easy. Just download your recording software. Like I use GarageBand. I'm on Mac, like everything I've got is Apple. I just use GarageBand and I record my whole podcast on GarageBand, but you could definitely record your audio on GarageBand and just download the audio file. And then all you're going to do is just upload that audio file into Dropbox or Google Drive, whatever you like. And then on your website, you're just going to have a little heading that says audio blog. And people are definitely going to click on that because no one's doing it and everyone's going to be curious and go, oh, what's an audio blog? And they're going to, and all you're going to do is on your website, you're just going to put a link to that audio blog. You're going to say, if you want to, if you're experiencing this issue and you want to experience this outcome or this result, listen to today's, audio blog. You click here to listen. And you're just going to link it to the file in Dropbox or the file on Google Drive, and people will be able to listen. And you know what? You might just talk for 3 or 4 minutes, if that. But the beautiful thing about audio is that it is different to blogging, yes, but it has an advantage in that people feel like they're getting to know you better when they hear your voice. And that really helps develop a connection with your audience. And I, for that reason, will continue to record podcasts until, whenever. I will always do podcasts for that reason. So absolutely think about doing a micro audio blog. I know. I love it. It's the best. If you didn't want to save them in Dropbox or Google Drive, which I would absolutely recommend because they're both free, you could try SoundCloud. You can record a few free micro audio blogs there and upload them there and store them there, and then just put the link to SoundCloud on your website, So I hope that this has been super duper helpful for you. I'm full of good ideas about marketing your private practice, and I love it so much. It's like become one of my areas of expertise. And in fact, I have a free little pop-up group, not all about marketing, but it starts on May the 30th, and you're most welcome to join. I think we've had 120 people. They're all waiting to get in. They've all registered to join. And we're going to be talking about a few different things over 3 days. And one of those will absolutely be marketing. All I've done is I've gone and listened and researched to where everyone's having the most trouble, and we're going to speak into those 3 things. So it's called a private practice bootcamp. You can absolutely come along to that. If you do come along to that and you decide to join Clients on Demand, you're going to get a big incentive, like a big discount for that as well, which you don't get if you haven't either joined the waitlist for Clients on Demand or joined the pop-up group. So and Clients on Demand is a program that's going to help you set the practice up to get referrals. If you want more information about that, let me know. Just send me an email or connect with me at on on Instagram at The Private Practice Coach. That's my handle there, at The Private Practice Coach, and I'll be happy to send you some more information about it. But let me know your thoughts on microblogging and audio microblogging. And yeah, if you implement it too, do let me know how you go with it, because this can absolutely increase referrals and increase brand awareness for your private practice when you publish a microblog, or even if you publish a micro audio blog. Remember, share it everywhere. Let everybody know that there's a new one available. So email your list, let them know there's a new one up, and include a link in the email back to the website so they can listen to it or they can read it. Put a post up on your business page and your personal profile to let people know that there's a new one up. Put a link to it in your Instagram, post about it on Instagram, let people know where they can read it or listen to it. Okay. And always have a bit of a call to action, which might be, let me know your thoughts. What did you think? Hit reply, DM me, whatever. It doesn't always have to say book now. Okay. So that is today's episode. As I said, if you want to join Clients on Demand, or you want to come along to the free pop-up group for private practice, do let me know on Instagram at The Private Practice Coach, and I can get you all the details for that. I hope this was a super helpful episode. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Bye-bye. I hope that you loved this episode as much as I loved putting it together for you. To get more resources to help you in your private practice, head over to Instagram. My handle is at The Private Practice Coach. And also, if you want more inquiries and referrals for your business, let me know. I have a program called Clients on Demand that opens every quarter, and I can absolutely get you some information for that as well. You are doing an amazing job. Thank you for sharing your gifts with the world. Bye.